Greetings. I'm going to paint a picture for you. Imagine you've been arrested, either wrongly or rightly, and it comes to that point where you are allowed to make that one phone call. So my question is this: how many of you even know the phone number of your partner, your loved one, or even your home number these days? How many of you have got so dependent on this technology that you just press a button and you don't even know a phone number? That might be something worth considering. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm of that generation before the internet, before mobile phones, and if we needed to make a phone call, we went down to a public phone box and generally lost your second 2p piece because the bar wouldn't go in as the pips went. I know I'm talking a foreign language to anybody who's probably 30 years of age or younger in the UK, but that was the situation we had. And of course you had the snail mail, the good old post office, where people would actually write letters, which has been replaced obviously by emails and this desire for instant connection. But also bear in mind with these mobile phones that if you're holding them to your head, the cumulative effect over years of use is going to have an adverse effect on your health. So I would seriously urge all of you to look into not just Wi-Fi, and I don't just mean when it is actually something is connected to the Wi-Fi. When it is even searching for a signal, it is giving off an electromagnetic field that is harmful to the human body. There's also baby monitors, these cordless baby monitors, cordless telephones. Anything like that is using a non-physical connection can cause you serious harm to your health. It may start with headaches. It can even be nosebleeds. There is also the problem with these new LED street lights and the weaponized aspect to that. It's something of a paradox, really. We live in a world where you have instant information available, and yet so many people have lost the ability to think and even ask the right questions and look up this information, which is actually there to be found quite easily. So often people like myself get called conspiracy theorists, which I take as a great compliment, because it's like, okay, you might not be able to see it, but I have looked into these things. I remember the Monday morning after 9/11, there was myself, another work colleague. We were ostracised because we dared to suggest or pose the question of how do you make the connection between Afghanistan and these 2 or 3 buildings coming down, because at the time there was no admission from any terror group, and straight away on Monday morning everybody else is there at work. We're on the side of the Americans. We've got to fight these terrorists. And I looked at this footage on the television on the day it happened, and I thought, that's a controlled demolition. That was my first thoughts with it, and looks to be the case. 9/11 has been a wonderful wake-up call for so many people, because it's like everything. Every step that this dark side takes reveals so much about who you can and who you cannot trust. That old saying about, if you want to know who your enemy is, find out who you cannot criticize. I can think of one particular country in the Middle East that comes immediately to mind with this. But it was also noticed by the judge in the case in Gateshead, where Gateshead's corrupt council were trying to silence Mark Steele, speaking about the dangers of 5G and LED lights and the removal of all these trees. something that the Woodland Trust, National Trust, RSPB, and various other charitable organisations seem to have failed to grasp. And the judge noticed in this court case the total lack of mainstream media journalists at this historic court case. So you have to question the motives of the media. You can believe what they tell you, but bear in mind that it is corporate, and also the same with social media. A lot of it is put out there to cause fear. You just need to stand back from all these things and look at the bigger picture. A bit like that film with Jim Carrey. The name escapes me at the moment. I've forgotten the name of it. Something like Turner's World or whatever it was, where he's actually in a film set and the whole world he is brought up in is an illusion. It's like everything in films, they do tell you the truth and we do live in an illusion. It's the same with all these gadgets, all these electrical goods. They are designed to work, but they are also designed to fail. And that is done because it's no good just selling you one mobile phone. They need to start adding extra features on these things because they want you to keep buying these products. They don't want you to be happy with anything, same as the motor car and anything else. It's all designed with a limited life because it's all about making money for a certain few people at the end of the day. So I thought I'd just clarify a few points there because these are things that you all really need to start looking at seriously. It just amazes me how people do have this information. Look up patent numbers, for example, and it's not as if this information is hidden. Look on the medication that you're advised to take by your doctor. Do read the leaflets. Look at what the side effects are. Look at the ingredients. If you don't know what the ingredient is, go on the internet and look it up. That could be the difference between life and death, and I do not exaggerate when I say this. When you get something called OxyContin and one of the side effects is death, that should be a real wake-up call. Same with these mobile phones. I know a lot of you in the United States got these presidential alerts. Well, don't you realise that what that is telling you? That they know who you are and where you are. That's something else you seriously need to consider. Also, if you have one of these mobile phones where you can get to the battery, you'll find there is a sticker on it. And you'll find under that sticker there is a couple of copper rectangles. And people have mentioned about how the batteries can go down on their phones. Well, that's probably because you've got two-way cameras and they're recording and listening in to everything you are saying, as well as every message and every comment you make on any social media. It's all being recorded and going to this artificial cloud, building up a profile on you. Because at the end of the day, this is what all this internet was designed for. It is given to you as something good, but there is also always a sinister side to these things. When you consider it was developed by DARPA, which is part of the US military, it's not the wonderful product it was meant to be. I'm not saying that the information and the technology is bad in itself, it's just the way certain organisations seem to use this information against you. And that is something you all really do need to consider for your own sakes. And I hope that you will share this video and seriously do look into these things, because you are all in debt. And the only debt you really have is not the artificial money one, it's what you owe yourself to find out for yourself, because nobody is going to do it for you. I can sit here all day making video after video, same as everybody else, and we can show you what we found. But at the end of the day, it is still up to you to do your own research into these things. Because it's no good coming and saying, why didn't you tell us? Because we have, repeatedly. It's the same as anything. If you want to get something out of something, you need to put the effort in the first place. You do owe that to yourselves. You really do. Thank you.